Alright, so I'm going to show how to replace the screen on this MacBook Pro. This is a 15-inch model A1398. This will apply to the 2013 and 2014 models. Okay, so if your screen has this cover, you'll want to remove it. These covers tend to be kind of difficult to remove, but basically you try and go where these little latches are and kind of roll them over with your thumb. I don't know if I can show this on video, but try and roll it over with your thumb like that. Okay, go over to the top and same thing, try and roll it over. Oops, sorry, just like that. These corners, just, yeah, roll it over. There we go. Okay, so now we got the cover off. Okay, once you got the cover off, of course make sure your MacBook is turned off completely. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get our screwdriver, and we're going to have to use a pentalobe 1.2 or a P5 screwdriver to remove the screws from the bottom. So keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shapes, and lengths, and then we're just going to go around the frame and remove all the screws. Alright, so we got one here, 4 along the top, 4 along the bottom, and 1 on each side. Okay. Again, keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shapes, and lengths. You don't want to get the screws mixed up, and then you can actually damage the computer putting it back together. This one has some missing rubber feet, so I'm going to remove these those little plastic things that are stuck in there, and then we're going to replace them with some rubber feet. I think I have a few. The replacement ones are just stickers, so yeah. Alright, so I'm going to remove all the screws. Okay. Then when you work on computers, you always want to keep yourself grounded, meaning you don't want to build up static. You want to be touching something metallic or the ground or something. So if you're wearing shoes or something, you might want to take your shoes off and just have your feet on the ground to kind of help keep the static from building up. Alright, I just have my knee touching my metal desk to help with that. There are better ways to ground yourself, but I haven't had any issues, so yeah. Alright, once you remove all those screws, just along the back, get your fingers there, and then just pull this metal cover up. Alright, and just pull it straight up like this. Oh, it's really dusty in here, so I'm going to clean this out. Just take a toothbrush, I'm going to have to scrub it, and then I have an air blower. I'm going to blow all of this out. But yeah, you don't want to use anything that can cause too much static built up again. But yeah, I'm going to go brush this off and clean it up because it's really dusty. Alright, I'll be back in a bit. Alright, so I'm back, cleaned out the dust. Let me zoom in a tiny bit more. Okay, so here you can see all the dust is cleaned out. Let me see if I have the little rubber feet to replace on there. I might have used them all. I probably should have checked this. Oh, okay. I do have some rubber feet. The problem is some of the rubber feet I have, they have like these extra little bumps on them. So those won't work. Yeah, I think all these rubber feet I have these extra bumps, so I don't think they're going to work. I'm going to pop out these just to check. Alright, so if you're going to replace these rubber feet, let me see here. I'm going to use a T9 just to push them through. And this model, I've done a video where I replace the battery, so if you want to see that, I have another video for that, as well as for the SSD, the wireless card, and other things like that. So this video is mainly going to be just for the screen, and then I guess these rubber feet if I have ones that work. Let's see, push this through. So basically you just push that through. The little plastic thingy will just fall out just like this, okay? And you don't really need to do anything with this plastic stuff. If you want, you can kind of just push it in. So this one, it looks like it has one little notch thingy here. I can push that one through. That's a pretty small little notch. Let's see if I can push it through with a small screwdriver. Do I have one that's small enough that will fit? Maybe this 0.7. Let's try it. Okay, so I'm going to try and push this little piece through as well. Looks like it went through. Okay, so this one has that little hole there, and then this one also has one little hole. So let me see. I don't know if I have one with just one tiny hole leg there. Oh, I do. Okay, so these feet will most likely fit. So I'm gonna try these and put the rest away. Okay, now let's push the other one through. Sorry, if you're just here for the screen replacement, then you can actually fast forward through. But I'm gonna push this one through as well. Okay, and then this plastic stuff, this plastic stuff will come up just like that, and I can throw away the little piece. Okay, and this one, oh, it's already a hollow hole. Okay, so now let's see. I'm gonna put back these little feet. Okay. Oh, I hate these Ziploc bags. There we go. Okay. Come on. Get out of the bag. Yeah. Okay, it's kind of stuck in the baggie. There we go. Alright, so grab that. Make sure the little dot lines up with the rest of the case. Alright. So the way you can do that is just line up the dot like that, and then push this down just like this. Okay, so now we got a new rubber foot. And then this one, since it has this old residue, you want to scrape that off, peel it up. Okay, that's just the old sticker from the other foot. There we go. We'll grab the other one, peel it off, and then we'll line this up just like the other one. Okay, and oops. There we go. Sorry, my head's getting in the way, but just line that up and stick it down. There we go. Alright, so now we got all 4 feet. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and continue with the screen. Okay, so to replace the screen, what you want to do, actually cut this thing off. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to actually disconnect the battery first. Okay, so here we'll disconnect the battery just like this. Okay. Oh, sorry, let me show a better view. So you want to look from on the side like this. You can actually see this part extends out a little bit, so that's what you're actually pulling up. Okay, just like that. And you want to do that on both corners. So just go on both corners like that and pull up the connector. Then once it pops out, just like this, you're going to want to open up the screen and press and hold the power button. This is very important. If you don't do this, you can actually damage your computer. So press and hold the power button for about 10 to 15 seconds. Okay. All right. All right, so once you've done that, just close it up. And then to make this easier, I'm going to flip it over like this for myself. Okay, and what you're going to want to do is, let's see, we're going to switch over. We're going to have to use a T8, which is a Torx 8 screwdriver. All right, and then we're also going to need a T5, so get a T5 as well. All right, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the T5, and these rubber things are held in with an adhesive. If you move it, you can actually see there's no adhesive on this side, but there's adhesive on these two. So what I do is I take the T5 screwdriver, get underneath between the screws, and I pry up this pad. So that way the adhesive actually stays stuck to the rubber piece, okay? Just like that. Same thing with the other side. This side doesn't have the adhesive, but these two have it. So I'm going to get the T5 screwdriver, get it between the two screws, and lift it up. All right, just like that. Again, now we got that with the adhesive stuck on it. Okay, now what we're going to do is there's these two little brackets. I'm going to zoom in so you can actually see a little bit better. Okay, so you got these two brackets, so we're gonna actually remove this little screw here. Okay, so this one. And once you remove that screw, you can either take the screw out, or actually the whole thing is coming out. So you want to actually lift out this metal piece here, and that's actually keeping the screen in place even if the hinges break. Okay, you want to do that on the other side as well, so slide it over, same thing, undo this screw. All right, and then we'll lift this out just like that. Okay. Right, and I'm trying to keep the screws together because you don't want to get them all mixed up. Again, they are different size, shapes, and lengths. Okay, once you do that, you can switch over to the T5 screwdriver. We are going to have to disconnect the LCD cable here, or they call it an LVDS cable. If you're going to do this, make sure that you disconnected the battery and press and held down the power button for 10 to 15 seconds. That's very important. All right, so once you remove those two little brackets, then we can remove the screen cable. So there's this little latch. I just go underneath with my fingernail. If you want, you can try and pull up this black plastic tab, but to me that's a lot harder. All right, so do it that way. Once you get this metal latch here out, just hold the metal latch like this with your fingernails as close to the bottom of the latch as possible, and then you just pull it straight back just like this. Okay, and that's how you disconnect the LCD or LVDS cable. All right, so with that cable disconnected, you won't have any screen display output. All right, next we're gonna flip up this rubber piece. This helps the airflow so that when the cover's on top, the air won't be able to go around and blow back into the computer. It'll keep it all to flow through this way. All right, so this rubber piece is pretty important. Some people, they break it or lose it, but remember, it helps with the airflow, so try and keep it in place. Okay, so now we're going to disconnect the wireless antennas. To do that, I just go on either side with my fingernail. You can use little tweezers or whatever, and then as close as you can to the tail, you just pull it straight up. Okay, just like this. Tail, pull it straight up. All right, tail, same thing, pull it straight up, and there we go. And then we're going to have to disconnect this. This is the eyesight or the webcam or the camera cable. So what I do is I go under here. If you can't do that with your fingers, you can use the smaller T5 or a little flathead screwdriver to kind of pull up underneath this cable. But I just use my fingernails just like this. Okay, just go underneath. Okay, once you peel that up, you can also move these cables out from this. There's like a little thing that kind of holds them in place. You want to be careful because there are little parts that stick out that keep it from coming up. All right, and then to remove this cable, it's a little bit tricky, but the way I do it is I just grab this as close as I can to the connector, and I kind of wiggle it up and down slightly as I kind of pull it. You want to be very gentle, because if you pull really hard, you can actually damage this cable very easily. I've had people rip off that connector. Okay, so you just grab it, and then you kind of just wiggle it, and as you can see, it's slowly coming out, just like that. All right, so that's how I do it. I don't know how other people do it. You can use like try and do like pliers or something, but the tweezers and pliers usually will slip, so it's kind of, to me, it's more risky. All right, so there you go, you got that. Now I'm going to zoom back out. What we're going to do now, okay, so this part, let's zoom out more. Okay, so what you want to do now is open up the screen. Sorry, these aren't part of it. All right, open up the screen as far as it goes. All right, and then what you do is you hang the screen off the edge of your desk. And just like this, okay? So you have your screen hanging off the edge of your desk. All right, I'm gonna zoom back in. And then we're gonna remove these T8 screws, okay? So there's 6 of them. Also, when you put back these screws, I like to use, it's called thread locker. I use the red thread locker. If you look at the screws, they actually use some blue thread locker. You can use the blue one, but I use the red one because it holds a lot better, and I don't want these screws to come loose at all, because if these screws come loose, you can actually damage your computer or the hinges. Okay, so remove these 6 screws. All right, and also keep in mind that you got this, there's the antenna connector on here with a little metal bracket. So we are gonna have to make sure that goes under the screws as well. And the webcam cable actually goes underneath that, okay? All right, now that we got all 6 cable or screws out, I'm gonna move this cable out of the way. Let the screen drop slightly, all right? And then you should be able to lift it up, okay? Just like that. So now we got the screen out, we're gonna get the replacement screen. Okay. All right, so we got the replacement screen here. This screen I bought long time ago. These screens are super expensive now. When I bought it, it was probably closer to like 300 or 400. Now they're going for like over 600. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Hopefully this screen is okay because I haven't tested it since. The box was sealed for so long, and then I was just going through my stuff and found it, and I was like, oh no, I forgot. But anyways, you want to peel up this tape, okay? All right, if yours has tape on it, make sure to be careful with these connectors. Hold down the connectors as you peel up the tape. You don't want to yank on the connectors. Okay, just like this. All right, I'm gonna peel off all this tape and then move it so it doesn't get in the way. All right, same thing with this one. Peel up this tape as well. All right, just like that. I'm gonna stick the tape on the back of itself so I don't get the tape all messed up. All right, and then just pull off these little pieces. I got someone calling, but I need to finish this first. Okay. All right. So now that we got all of those off, what you want to do is open the hinges all the way. If they're not, you can move them with your hand. If you can't move them with your hand, I like to use the T8 screwdriver. Just stick it through one of the screw holes and then use that to twist the hinge back like this, okay? Just like that. All right, so now that we got that, we'll get the screen in place. Okay. Hold the cables up and out of the way, just like this. And then, oops, let me zoom out a little bit again. And then get the screen down the same way you took it out, just like that, okay? And then what I like to do is I like to put in one screw from each side just to hold it in place. Okay. You don't want to over tighten it yet because we are going to have to move this around. Okay. Get these cables lined up the right way. All right, and then we'll get the one screw in there as well. All right, just like that. Okay, so once you get the screws in, you want to very carefully close the screen. All right, just like this. Okay, and then once you get it mostly closed, what you want to do is loosen up these screws a tiny bit. Okay. And then now we can actually line up the screen properly. I'm going to peel this plastic off from the back so that it's not in the way, and then I can use that to line it up. Okay, so let's peel this off. Okay, just like that. Again, now that the screws are loosened, you can use this to align the screen properly, because you want the frame to line up with the keyboard palm rest area. Okay, so then what I was saying earlier, you want to use some red thread locker. So let me get that. Oops. Okay, let me get my red thread locker and I'll be back. All right, so I'm back with the red thread locker. Okay, so what you want to do is take the screw. All right, and then you just put a tiny bit, like not even a full drop. So just get a little bit on there. I don't know if you can even see. I just put barely any on there, and then put that screw in. All right, tighten it up, make sure that the screen doesn't get out of alignment. Okay, I'm gonna put the other one over here just to keep that aligned. All right, I'm gonna be putting the thread locker on the screws off screen just so I don't accidentally drip it on the laptop. Okay, tighten up the screw, there we go. And then don't forget to take out the screws that we already put in there to add the thread locker to that as well. You don't need the thread locker, but it helps a lot, so it helps prevent issues in the future, so I highly recommend putting the thread locker. Okay. Otherwise, you'd kind of have to open it up and make sure the screws stay tight if they ever come loose, if the screen becomes wobbly. Okay, just like that. That was a lot of thread locker. Alright, don't forget to take back out the last screw. Alright, there we go. So now we're going to reconnect the LCD screen and all the other connectors. Okay. So to connect this, make sure that the gold pins of this connector are facing up. Okay, that's important. You don't want to try and put it in upside down, and then try and make sure it lines up completely before you push the connector in. Okay, so get that all lined up and make sure it goes between the little slot. Okay, hopefully you're able to see. The hardest part is kind of getting it between these little corners here. Once you get that in, just pull the connector over. All right, and then put the latch back on top, just like that. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and do the other connectors. So I don't know if I'll be able to do it with it this far zoomed in. Okay, you can see. All right, so then we just guide these wires back over. So same thing, wireless, or the webcam connector here, and then the wireless antennas go down into this notch here. Okay, and just guide the wires over just like before. All right, make sure again the wireless antennas stay in that slot. Then we'll get the webcam cable, slot that in again with the gold pins facing up, and then I like to use the screwdriver to help push it in place. Okay, just like this. I go from one side to the other, just slowly pushing it in. Same thing as like when we wiggled it out. You want to slowly walk the camera cable into place. So just like this. Let me see here. It's kind of hard for me to see. I need to make sure it lines up. People keep calling and texting me, so hopefully I'm not going to get in trouble. Okay. All right, make sure it stays down just like that. Okay, and then walk the connector in just like this. There we go. Now we got the whole camera connector in. Now we need to get the wireless antennas in place. Okay, oops. Make sure the wireless antennas are on top, of course. All right, and then to get the wireless antennas in, what you want to do is you line up. Let me see if I can zoom in more for you. Okay, so you line up the connector, and the way that you know you have it right is once you have the connector lined up completely on top of this. If you were to try and move it around, all right, the connector will stay in place. Once you know it doesn't move around, then you can just push it down. There we go. Get the other one. Same thing. You can use tweezers if you can't do this with your fingers. Make sure it's lined up and then push it down. All right. Same thing with this one. There we go. Line it up. Make sure it doesn't move around. Push it down. Right, so there we go. We got all the connectors in place. You want to try and line this thing up if you can. All right, just like this. This cable looks like it's a little bit longer than the original, so there might be a little bit of it popping out, but it's not really a big deal, as long as you don't clamp it down with something and then damage the cables, okay? So there we go, just like that. Put this rubber piece back on top, again, to help with the airflow. And then, oops, you probably didn't even see that. Okay, make sure that's lined up, just like that, and then push the connector back down, just like this. All right, once you've done that, we got everything connected. We'll put this cover back on. And after replacing anything big like this, I always like to do a PRAM or SMC reset. Okay, so let me get the charger here. All right, so I'll plug the charger in, just like this. Okay, so to do a SMC reset, what you want to do, let me zoom out. If the battery's less than 90%, oops, I don't want it to start up yet, but as you can see, the Apple logo's there, so it's working. All right, so I'm gonna wait till it turns off. The customer's still calling, so I don't know. I hope I'm not getting in trouble. Anyways, let's see. So it did turn on, it started up. Okay, so what you want to do an SMC reset is Command Option Shift on the left side, and then you press the power button. Once you do that, this orange light will go green, as you can see, or hopefully you can see it turn green, then it goes back to orange. That's how you know you did the SMC reset properly. To do a PRAM reset, you power it on, Command Option PNR while it's booting up. All right. You should see the screen come on, and then the screen should like flash to reset itself, or you'll just hear the chime a second time. If you hear the chime the second time, then you know you did it right, and then you can, there you go, let go of the keys. And there we go, we did a PRAM and SMC reset. So all that's left now, if you want, test the camera, make sure the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth is working, and of course, make sure the screen's working. If it turns on, of course it's working. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, like and subscribe, help others find my videos. I am now just going to put back the screws and the cover on the back of their Mac. All right, so they had this cover on. I'm just gonna put that back on. Just like this, okay. All right. All right, so let me put these screws back in. So we'll switch back to the P5 Pentalobe 1.2 screwdriver. Oh, I almost forgot. Don't forget to put back the little rubber things. Okay, and also the T5, sorry, those T5 brackets. So you want to put back these little T5 brackets as well. All right, make sure to get the screw. Okay, this one as well. There we go. All right, and then put back these rubber things, just like that. Okay, and there we go. So, yep, snap back on this cover. All right, and then put back all the Pentalobe 1.2 or P5 screws, and we are good to go. Again, hopefully you didn't mix the screws up. The two back here are very slightly shorter, so yeah. All right. But that's pretty much all there is to this. Again, hopefully this video helped you. If it did, like and subscribe, help others find my videos. Thank you for watching. You're welcome to stay while I put back the rest of the screws. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's see. Oops. Almost done. there we go. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.